H. Don King,
Daphne Johnson,
Kendall Alexander Richardson,
Donna Dossett Major,
Angelino Cooper,
Taisha Triumph Clare,
Chad Rutherford,
Ron Rogers,
Anne-Marie Clinton Rowe,
Great Honorable Priest Rickman McKinney,
Rashay Sands,
Mr. Ebony Emmanuel,
Charlotte Reed,
Jason Gibson,
Cara Ellis,
The Rep Prince.
I'm Lincoln Bain, and I'm the leader of the Coalition of Independence. We are a group of Bahamians who have come together to be the change this country needs to see.
Change is here.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome. You know what to do when you get on here. Thank you all for spending your Sunday with us. Thank you so much for doing that. But get on here and share so that we can spread the message. Take a few minutes to share so the Bahamian public can see exactly what's going on, particularly with this election process. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. So we're going to give you a chance to share. We're not going to be long today, so please share as soon as possible because we got to get in here and out of here so that we can get rested because this is a long week. And so we got to come out this week prepared and ready. All right? So please share this. Make sure that the Bahamian public can see exactly what's going on because the media isn't going to show the truth. They're going to continue to try to suppress the truth. I got a chance to go down there to the Parliamentary Commissioner's office and see the ballot boxes again. And there's something that terribly concerned me that I saw. And like I told him, there's no reason for this not to be a transparent process. I believe that this entire process should be nothing should be hidden. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that in a minute and show you the changes that we're going to make when we come in. So the election can't be stolen anymore. And so one of the things we're going to do is get rid of that dipping your ink in your finger in ink. That is like so 1800s. And this is 21st century, for God's sake. And so we gotta make some changes there. All right. So please share so that we can get this started. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone who supported us yesterday. All right. Listen. Bahamians, you showed them that you count. Yesterday, you showed the Bahamian people that you count. I've heard talk show hosts, some I love, some of my friends, some who have been supporting us. I saw talk show hosts saying that only the PLP and FNM count. You know, they've been saying this for quite some time, trying to convince the Bahamian people like that is what it is. Like just because they have the ability to pay people to come out there and walk with them or pay people to go on motorcades with them, that would give you the impression that everyone in the country is going to vote for them. There are just under 200,000 voters. Just under 200,000. I haven't seen that many people on any motorcade, on any walkabout. Yeah, you can get a few hundred people to come out there and support you. That doesn't mean that the Bahamas is going PLP. That doesn't mean that the Bahamas is going FNM. Bahamians are fed up and ready for a change. And I believe that is what they showed when they showed up this week, yesterday, to black out this nation. I want to thank everyone who made that possible. I want to thank everyone who made that possible. You know, people who say, who's funding you? Where are you getting the money from? Et cetera, et cetera. Regular, everyday Bahamians. We called out. We said, listen, if you want to help, come forward. People came forward with boxes of chicken. People came forward with macaroni. People came forward with different things that we might need. All kinds of different things. Maybe a table here, maybe a chair there. This is a movement of regular Bahamians who decided that we've had enough. We can't take it anymore. And the little that we have, we're going to pool it together. It reminds me of what Grammy them tell me about 1967, when Grammy would only make a couple dollars, but she would put that in an envelope and tell the child, grandson, you go run there to the PLP headquarters and you give them that little shilling. All right, and the little shillings would add up together. And so the 1967 shilling, 1967, the little shillings added up. It added up. It added up to what they needed to win the government. They didn't have the money. People didn't know them. They were young. All of them were unknown. They were not qualified. But people really wanted to change. And I believe that is what is happening this time. I believe that that's what's happening. And so regular people have come together to make this happen. No special interests, no oligarchs, regular people. Some people have come in and dropped off $10. Some have dropped in $20. Some have dropped in $100, $150 to make this all possible. Regular Bahamians. It's you that I want to thank today. Persons have been, giving their all financially, their time. They've been sacrificing, working without asking for anything. I want to thank you. This victory will not be mine. This victory will be ours. A victory for the Bahamian people. Thank you, and God bless you for standing up and fighting. We had our motorcade yesterday, our blackout motorcade, and boy, did you show up. Boy, did you show up to show these talk show hosts that they are wrong, that they are not psychics, that Cleo is gone, that we don't know who told them that they are some kind of prophet. But you showed them that your vote should count, that they should not count your vote until you cast it. They are out of order for assuming that this one is about FNM and PLP and not considering the will of the Bahamian people. You showed them that they are wrong. You continue to show them that they are wrong and that you want different. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the biggest unpaid motorcade in the history of the Bahamas. The biggest unpaid motorcade in the history of the Bahamas. You showed up. Hundreds and hundreds of cars came. I saw people making assumptions on how much cars, 200 cars, 350 cars, 400 cars. Hundreds and hundreds of cars came. Hundreds of cars. People showed up and showed out. I want to thank you for showing them that you are ready, that you showed up in the rain. I want to thank you for showing up in the rain and staying with us all day. Our motorcade was so huge that it was intimidating to the status quo, to the PLP and F&M. Police officers on motorbikes, well, they gave us 2 police officers. How can you send 2 police officers to manage a motorcade this big? From the motorcade last week, they should have known that this motorcade was going to be bigger, because last week there was no notice. They should have known that this one would be even bigger, and that 2 motorcycle cops would not be enough. They should have known that. But they didn't care because they had an objective. They sent us motorcycle cops who did a good job to the best of their ability, but there were other motorcycle cops who were there to interfere with our motorcade. Other motorcycle cops came and were stopping our people from continuing on the motorcade or from joining the motorcade. Not the 2 that they sent, others. They were blocking them and not allowing them to continue with us. This was wrong. I don't understand why we still have these petty tricks in the 21st century. I don't understand why. Do you think that you're going to change people's mind because you decided to block some of our people so that our motorcade would be split up in 3 instead of in 1? Do you think that by sending just 2 cops and some people had to stop on the red light so the motorcade was broken up, do you think that that was going to stop people from seeing that we had a bigger motorcade than the F&M has ever had? Do you think you could stop us by these little petty tricks? Well, I put it to you that you cannot. The Bahamian people are ready for change, and your tricks is not going to change that. We had our rally afterwards. We fed lots and lots of people. And afterwards, we had our rally, and you showed up. Our rally was bigger than any F&M rally. The PLP didn't have any rallies. It was bigger than any F&M rally. Any. And so I want to thank you for showing up and showing out. I want to thank you for believing in the Bahamian people. I want to thank you. And so the PLP also had their motorcade yesterday. They had good support also for their motorcade. There were some people trying to say, oh, the PLP motorcade was over here and it was still over here. No, they came from separate places. And so they were trying to give you the impressions of when they showed you the motorcade on this side and one over there. No, they came from separate places to come together. And so that wasn't it stretched that far. That's the impression they were giving you. All right? But our motorcade was just as big or bigger than their motorcade. We are confident of that. In any event, they can no longer say that we are a fringe party or a third party. Yesterday reminded me of when one family came out and just boxed up the Saxon and Valley the first time. When they came out to show that, listen, we are not a fringe Junkanoo group. We are the big boys. And so we came out to show them that we are one family and that we are going to take down the status quo. We are ready, right? Somebody said they split the motorcade at the light also. Yes, they did. And so thank all of you who made this possible. There's so many names. I can't call all the names, but this is you and this is us. Every success that you see us have, it is us. It is not me. This is a God move. And I thank you for putting yourselves forward and sacrificing the little that you have, your time, your effort. There's some people who work so hard, my Lord. I feel for them sometimes. There's some people involved in our movement that work so hard, that give of themselves, who did not quit on us, who did not give up on us. There's some people who said that they would be with us to the end, and they have been at our sides every day from the beginning to the end. No small issues or no discrepancies have pulled them aside. No distractions have pulled them away. I want to thank you. This has been a long, rough, intense battle. This has been a sprint, and you've been right there with us, straight through to the end, never missing a day. Many of you, never missing a day. You've given your support. You've put yourselves in the line for change. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for believing in yourself. We are a few short days away from glory of the Bahamian people, from the transformation of the Bahamas itself. We are a few short days away. Do not slacken your eye. Continue to evangelize. Continue to talk to your family and friends, and we will get there together. Before I tell you about where we go from here, we're trying to plan another rally for this week. We're going to give you details. We were looking at Tuesday. We'll see what kind of permissions we get, what kind of permit we get, and then we'll see if we can go forward, okay? We know they always have all kind of tricks up their sleeve, but we'll see what we can do, all right? Someone said to me, Lincoln, you're too rough, you're too belligerent, you fight too hard. Some people have actually said that to me. You need to calm down and show that you can be the leader of this country. I don't think you should ever have a leader of a country who has not fought for a country, who has not shown you that they are willing to fight for you. I don't think anyone should be leader who has not done that. If you are leader because you've just been around for a long time and you just take over by default because it's your turn, that doesn't mean that you have this country's best interests at heart. Where is your sacrifice? What have you sacrificed? Pinlin deserved to be leader because before Pinlin became prime minister, they fought. I've seen pictures with Pinlin with protest cards and Milo Butler standing next to him protesting. They were rowdy. Randall Fox was rowdy. He got charged with sedition because he talked so bad to the British. Milo Butler would go in the house and have to get dragged out. 4 and 5 men would have to lift him by his limbs. They locked him in the bathroom of the House of Assembly one time. They fought for change in this country. They didn't just come and talk. They didn't put on some good suits and say some fancy words to impress you. So Lyndon Pinlin came and stood up and grabbed the mace of the house and flung it out in the house. Threw it onto the ground outside. Milo Butler was with him and grabbed the time clock and threw it out. And said, what are y'all going to do? We need change. Change never comes unless you are willing to stand up and fight for it. Bahamians are too passive, and that's why we get abused for so long. Stand up, Bahamas. I'm not fighting for myself. In fact, I'm not a belligerent person. If you're around me on a personal level, you will see that you'll be wondering if I even talk. On a personal level, I'm just there. I'm a quiet person. I listen more than I talk. I observe and I calculate. I'm logical. Most people only see me when I'm on a protest or out there speaking, so they assume that what they see there on TV is me at all times. No, it's not me at all times. I can represent on any level. I can speak on any level. But what you see most of the time is the only time the news will focus is me standing up and fighting. There's a time for everything. And so sweet Jesus had to go in the temple and rough them up. Sweet Jesus, who said turn the other cheek? Yeah, him. But we say it was so meek and so mild? Yeah, him. He had to go in the temple and tie up some cords and beat some people and throw over some tables to make a statement that this old system has to come down. Stop being afraid to stand up, Bahamas. And don't feel that because someone is standing up means that they are belligerent and not ready to lead this or willing to lead this country. A leader has to lead from the front. Moses had to approach Pharaoh, not send emissaries to see Pharaoh. Moses wanted to lead the people. He had to go in front of Pharaoh himself. Say, yeah, I'm that wanted man. I'm that man who's wanted for murder, but I came to you to tell you to let my people go. He had to speak to the problem. David brought change for the Israelis because he went and spoke to the problem. He went to Goliath and talked to him bad. It was disrespectful what he said. He said, I'm going to cut your head off and feed you to the birds. Sometimes you got to stand up and speak truth to power, and we can't be afraid to speak truth to power. If you really want to new bombers, you got to decide if you want to fight for this or you want to be like Philip Brave Davis and sit down and just let everything happen. Is that who you want fighting for you? Is that who you think is going to stand up for you? Someone who spent their entire time in opposition saying nothing about nothing? What are you going to expect? What do you think is going to happen if they get in? Nothing for you. They won't stand up for you. They're going to fight against you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a stand. I'm willing to lead from the front because we've been abused. And no one has been willing to stand up for us. I've tried and proven over the last 2 decades that I will stand. I will stand for the Bain people. Ladies and gentlemen, that is me. I'll say this last thing before I move on to tell you what exactly has happened with this election. Martin Luther King, the one who you all call sweet and professional and meek and whatever, Martin Luther King, in his day, they told him that he was too rowdy. He didn't do things the right way, that there's a way you do things. The church was against him. They said that he was an embarrassment to the church because he was always out there protesting. There were people, every time he came to town, they would say, you're just a troublemaker. Every time you come to town, it's trouble. We can't take you. Just don't come, man. Because when you come, the government, these are racist people, they just go crazy. They take it out on us. Martin Luther King, just please don't come to our town. Go study it. See, we see things in history where we forget what was happening at the time, and they would say, Martin Luther King, just go home, man. Don't go, because when you come, there could be problems, man. Go home. You're a troublemaker. And his response to them was that there's good trouble and there's bad trouble. He said, the trouble I'm making is good trouble. We need more Bahamians like Pinland, like Samalo Butler, like Randall Fox, ready for good trouble. Change only comes when there's good trouble. I hope that you are ready for this change. If you are, you have to have the courage to stand up when you see corruption, when you see wrong. If you don't have that courage, then you continue to get abused for generations to come. And wait for your children to have to stand up and fight the battles that you did not have the courage to stand up and fight. I have the courage to not only stand up and speak eloquently to the Queen or any of our emissaries, to any world leader, but I also have the courage to stand up for my Bahamian people, no matter who I'm standing in front of, to fight for my Bahamian people. If Atlantis is abusing their staff, I have the courage to stand up and form a select committee and bring them before the select committee and say that what you are doing is wrong. Stop it, or there will be sanctions. I have the courage to stand up for my Bahamian people. If Morton Salt is not treating their staff properly, I have the courage, whether I'm the leader of the opposition or the prime minister of this country, to call a select committee and bring them before us and say that what you are doing is wrong. I have the courage to stand up. Whether that is as prime minister or leader of the opposition, I have the courage and the power to stand up for you. Now the choice is yours. That is what I have to say about that. Read the letter from Birmingham jail written by Dr. Martin Luther King to the church. That was a letter not written to the government, not written to the racists. That was written to the church, who were telling him that he was too rowdy and too out of order. There's a way to do things. You're messing this up. And he told them I have to stand strong. He said, I'm only answering you all because of who you all are, the church. Normally I just ignore my detractors. But what I am doing is good trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, what I am doing is standing up for the Bahamian people. On Advance Poll Day, I stood up for the Bahamian people in Pinewood who voted to make sure that they were not disenfranchised because the law was being broken. I stood with a PLP lady who was being insulted and mistreated. And I made them respect her. These vile F&Ms who have contracts and are fighting to continue raping the cradle with their contracts, their crooked contracts. I stood up. More Bahamians need to stand up, and maybe we'll do a little bit better than we've been doing. That is it, and that is all. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a call this morning, and I just had a few minutes notice because I was told that the parliamentary commissioner had gone to the office, well, the commissioner's office where it's being kept, well, the police headquarters, where the ballot boxes are being kept. And I went there, jumped up, threw on what I could throw on, and just went out and went there. Because now the ballots were going to be moved again. When I got there, other persons from other parties were there. Other persons from other parties were there. PLP representative was there. F&M representative was there. And they wanted to show us that they were going to move some of the ballot boxes to take them to another place. So now the ballots are separated in different places, and I don't know how they can watch all these ballots in different places, and that's not the norm to have these ballot boxes separated. But this is what's happening in our country today. And so when we got there, he said that he would allow us to see the condition at where they're kept, because there was this big issue that this is not where it's normally kept. It's normally kept at the parliamentary registrar's office, where they have a special locked room for it. But this time it was being kept by the commissioner of police, which is very suspicious to a lot of people who don't have confidence that they will not be biased. And so he took us into the room, into the storage, and it's a room shaped like an L. So the room is shaped like an L. And when you enter the room, the boxes are lined all across the walls on both sides, the ballot boxes from the advance poll, on both sides. And it's shaped like an L, and the long part of the L goes to the back of the room. So I saw all the ballot boxes, and I asked him, I said, well, can I see the Pinewood ballot box? Because that box was not sealed. And I said to the parliamentary commissioner, not the police commissioner, he wasn't there, the parliamentary commissioner. So if I say commissioner, I'm meaning the parliamentary commissioner. So I spoke to the parliamentary commissioner, and I told him that my concern was that I'm looking at ballot boxes from other constituencies and they are sealed properly. Some of them are double sealed, the boxes. And I'm like, but the information that we had on the day was that the presiding officer at the time, Mr. Lewis, I'm calling names, said that his instructions was not to seal the boxes. You saw me approach him live, knowing that he was live, and question him about it. Who gave you this instruction? And that is the problem. And I said that is why I want to see the Pinewood box, to make sure that it is still in good state, because the other boxes are sealed and double sealed, and some of them more than double sealed. So why was the Pinewood box still not sealed? That was the problem I had. And I made it clear to him that this was an issue for me. Why Pinewood? And I said to him, what the presiding officer did was unlawful, and it should not have happened. And he agreed. And so when I made my Facebook post, a person saw where I said that it was unlawful, and he admitted that what the presiding officer did was unlawful. I got a call. The presiding officer called the parliamentary commissioner to ask him if he actually said that. And the parliamentary commissioner called me and said, "Well, I didn't say the word unlawful." Uh, and I said, "Yes, you said that what happened was unlawful. I said that it was unlawful and it shouldn't have happened, and you agreed." And so that's how it was worded. He did not personally say it was unlawful. I said it and he agreed. Also, Mr. McPhee, who was there, because I asked who gave the instructions to this man to do what he did, this unlawful act. And Mr. McPhee, who's a seasoned member of this team, been working there for 11 years, said it didn't come from the parliamentary office. So he don't know who gave those instructions. That leaves a huge concern for me. So, and the parliamentary commissioner was standing there when that was said. And so, you don't know who gave these instructions, and only the parliamentary commissioner should be given these instructions. So there needs to be an inquiry as to who gave these instructions to break the law. There's going to be an official complaint made tomorrow to understand who gave these orders for this man to break the law. An official complaint is going to be launched. You see, we could just sit there and let this go, but this is going to continue into the future. We need change. We need change. Why were all the mistakes made in this election targeted at the coalition of independents? The misprint on the ballot, not putting our logo next to our candidate, putting a teacup next to her. Why was that targeted at us? All of the false information that the parliamentary registry issued, gazetted, that's a legal process. They issued false information and did not retract or correct it. They intentionally gave false information to the general public about all of our Grand Bahama candidates. They gazetted it and didn't include them. This is illegal, unlawful, I should say. Why is it targeted at the coalition of independents is the question that we must ask. Are they afraid? I think they are. Open your eyes, Bahamas. Everything that they're doing is being done against the coalition of independents. They are terrified of us in the House of Assembly to bring them to justice, to deliver this country to the Bahamian people. And so the choice is simply yours. We're not going to let them steal this election. This is my warning to the parliamentary commissioner, to Dr. Minnis, or anyone else who would be involved in any skullduggery. I don't think the parliamentary commissioner is. Don't come in Pinewood playing, because we're going to be ready for you. And we're going to be on top of every move that you make. And we are not going to stand down. Don't think that we're going to be pushovers. Don't come for us. We can see that you are trying to attack us. When a man gets specific instructions at the last minute, specific instructions to leave the ballots open and exposed in the ballot box, that anyone with a key can open it and unlock it. That is where the problem lies. That is where the problem comes in, ladies and gentlemen. That is where the unlawfulness happened. This is the first time that we are seeing these issues. I won't call them errors, because they could be intentional. Now, let me tell you what else I saw when I got there. Let me tell you what else I witnessed with my own eyes. The parliamentary commissioner was standing there, and also the Mr. McPhee, as I told you, the police officer, Superintendent Williams was standing there. Former Senator Alex Starr was standing there. Others were in the room, but a little ways down from where we were. When they showed me the Pinewood ballot box. What was so suspicious is the Pinewood ballot box to me was at the end of all the lines of ballot box. It was at the end, conspicuous, where it's easy to find, at the total back of the room, shaped like an L. The room is shaped like an L, so when you come in, you can't see the long part of the L because you come in at the tip. And so at the back of the room was the Pinewood box. Very conspicuous. Now, it could be that it was the last box to come in. I don't know. One of the police officers said it suggested that he believes that that is what the case is. But nonetheless, I'm informing the public that the box was at the back. Conspicuous, easy to identify. You don't have to go looking through all the boxes to find it or count anyone. It's the last box in the room. Also, even more curious was that the keys to the box was on top of the box. So the box is sitting there in the storage room, and the envelope with the keys on top of the box. The envelope to the keys, with the keys to the box, is on top of the box, Bahamas. Are you all listening to me? So I looked at all of the other boxes, and the keys were not on top of the boxes. And I'm like, why is the keys for this box on top of this box? And this box is not sealed. And to be clear, the Family Island boxes were not sealed either. But all of the New Providence boxes were sealed. But this box, I didn't see the keys on top of the Family Island boxes that were next to it. This box had the keys on top of it. So I asked the Parliamentary Commissioner, I said, why does this box have the key on it? That means anyone can just come and access this box because the key. Why would you have a lock if the key is right there with it? Anyone in the Bahamas, make that make sense for me. You want to lock your house, do you leave the key outside right there and anyone who comes can just open it? You lock your front door, you take some tape and stick the key right there on the front door. Does that even make sense to anybody? Someone make that make sense for me. Why even have a lock if the key is constantly with the box? And so I asked him, he said, oh, well, to get inside the storage room, you know, they have to have the key to get inside the storage room itself. And I have a key and the police have a key. And you know, I said, listen, that's neither here nor there. Because you and whoever has the key for the police could work together. So it doesn't matter to me. That doesn't secure me. I don't know you. You are new. You are a new Parliamentary Commissioner. I don't know why F&M appointed you. You are appointed by the F&M. And so don't expect us to just trust you. And so far, he has been a very forthcoming, very intelligent young man. And, you know, I like him as Parliamentary Commissioner. But we don't just trust you or the police in this matter. And so as he was saying that, I said, can you pick up that envelope to see if it was tampered with? He said, but it can't, no one can get in here. You know, it's been here. I said, can you pick up the envelope, please? Because I don't want to have to pick it up. So he went, picked up the envelope. The envelope was torn open and the keys just dropped out. The envelope was already torn open and the keys just dropped out. And so, why the keys would be on top of the ballot box in a torn open envelope that anyone who goes in there can simply open it? Well, it's already open. the keys just drop out. How is that acceptable? And so maybe when because they had opened the box several times when they were closing the doors. They'd opened the box several times because they made some mistakes, etc. So maybe at some point they tore the envelope. All right, at some point while it was still at the school. But this is my question: if you did that, then why didn't you then put it in another sealed envelope and seal the envelope so that you would know if the keys were tampered with? Because you don't need to go in that box again until election day, when you will open the box on election day in front of all of the parties so it can be inspected. So why not seal it back? Why is it there in that storage room, torn open, and the keys just drop out? Someone make that make sense to me. And so when he picked it up and the keys just drop out because it was torn open, I could see the look of shock on his face, like, oops. And I questioned them. I said, this can't happen. So someone said maybe they, in the process before they left school, maybe they opened it to reopen when they had to reopen the ballot, this and that. It doesn't matter what they did. It should have gone back in a sealed envelope so that we would know if the envelope was tampered with. This is illegal. This is election tampering. And so I said, listen, I have to take a picture of this because there needs to be a record of this. So it isn't your word against mine because you're all going to start denying everything. I said, I need to take a picture of this. I then took out my phone to take a picture of it. He said, no, you can't take a picture of this. I said, why? Why the secrecy with this whole process? Why? The keys are on top of the box, exposed. The Bahamas needs to know this. So he came in front of me, Officer Williams came in front of me. They said, no, don't take a picture of it. And I went to take a picture. My settings was actually on video. I didn't realize, because you have to switch it on the Samsung phones on the side to go to picture, video, whatever. And it actually just started playing the video. Williams saw it happen. And I actually spoke to them and I said, no. We are going to make record of what happens here because no one is going to lie about what happened and deny what happened. Alex Dorr said, Lincoln, I'll vouch for you about what happened or whatever. But yes, we have the video of the conversation. We didn't get to video of the box because the police and the parliamentary commissioner seemed in a desperate effort to cover up what is happening, stood in front of the box. Why is this happening? We know exactly why it's happening. Because there is an attempt to steal this election. The box has been there for a few days now. Why is it that way? And so in any event, I left it. I said, I just needed a record of this happening. So standing there was Superintendent Williams, the aide to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. McPhee, I don't know his first name, who works in the Parliamentary Commissioner's office for the last 11 years, very intelligent and knowledgeable fellow. The Parliamentary Commissioner was standing there. Alex Storr was standing there. Other people were in the storage room and they were at the other part, and that included persons from the DNA and other parties and the FNM. All right. I think that Khalil Parker, lawyer for the FNM, was standing there too. I don't quite remember if he was standing right next. Yes, he was. Khalil Parker was also there. Right? And so this is the problem for me. The question is, have they already gone in that box? Because they don't have to just open the thing and tamper with it, they can change an entire envelope. The only thing on those ballots is the commissioner's signature and your vote. They could swap out, take the whole ballot bag out, the envelope, move it, replace it with another bag, and copy the signatures on it. And remember, they said they only want the government seal on it. They weren't allowing us to put our seal. Because, see, they still have the government seal. That's theirs. So they put the hot box on it, and then they seal it with the government seal. But if they're going to do some skullduggery, it's easy to copy signatures. There are professionals who can do that. But they have the seal. But if we had put our seal, and other parties had put their seals, they couldn't copy that. And so that is one of the reasons I think that they demanded no seal goes on the envelope, other than the government seal. And that's after we forced them to do it because they were breaking the law. In terms of the ballot box, only the Pinewood box for New Providence was unsealed. So you take what you want from that. And so we are lodging an official complaint. We're not going to let this go easily. We're going to be paying close attention and watching. This is war. We know that they're coming for Pinewood, and we know why. And so we're going to lodge an official complaint as it relates to this. And also we have met with persons from the international community. We have officially met with persons from the international community. We've met with the British, the Commonwealth organization that observes elections for Commonwealth countries. We've met with them because the Bahamas has signed on to a treaty with the Commonwealth that they must behave in a certain way. The elections must be conducted in a certain way. This is an international treaty that we sign on to. Human rights must be dealt with in a certain way. And so this is their treaty that they signed on to. You remember that I showed you this treaty a couple of weeks ago. And so, ladies and gentlemen, based on that, we had a meeting today. Just put the picture up. We had a meeting today with this organization. Chairing this organization is Mr. Bruce. You can leave it up there, Mr. Bruce Gooding, former president of Jamaica, who is chairing the observers from the Commonwealth. He's chairing this whole thing. There were other representatives in there. Other representatives are in there. And so it was a room. You can put the picture back up. It was a room full of international observers. Everyone you see was international observers, except 4 members of our executives. And so these are international observers that came to observe the election. And Bruce Golding, sitting in the middle, is from Jamaica. He was the prime minister of Jamaica, right? Used to be. And so we have aired our complaint to them with reference to, you can take the picture down, with reference to the ballot intentionally being done correctly in Bain and Grantstown. This in itself is an egregious error and could have affected the voting drastically. There was one, old woman that she went there into the ballot box, and you could see, and all of this we addressed with them, and we're putting this in writing for them. I keep everything on the table in public because this is the kind of government that we're going to have. Some people say, Lincoln, don't tell them what you're going to do. No. I am keeping everything transparent and public. And so an old lady came in to vote, and you could see the confused look on her face, this being in Grand Town. And she was looking at this ballot, and she was confused. And so she came from behind the ballot box. We have a record of all of this. And she said to the presiding officer, what about the Coalition of Independence? Why is the Coalition of Independence not on here? And then the presiding officer said to him, in this instance, a mistake was made, and we used the logo of the teacup for the Coalition of Independence candidate, who is Donna Dawson Major. And the woman said, she protested, she was annoyed. She went back in, and then she voted for the teacup. and then cast a ballot. But how many other people just didn't see it and maybe thought that we didn't have a candidate for that constituency and voted some other way and just didn't have the courage to ask? This is a disenfranchisement of the Bahamian people. This should never have happened. The moment they discovered that, even if it was an hour before election, they should have altered the entire process just for Bain and Grantstown, reprinted it. How long would it take to print just the ballots for Bain and Grantstown? But they didn't do it. And so Donna Dossett Major set up a tent outside so that she could educate people as they were walking in to tell them, listen, if you're voting for the coalition in Bain and Grantstown, use the teacup. The police came and stopped and said, no, you can't show them the teacup. Now, when you walk past the tents of the PLP, for them, they tend they got set up. PLP logos set up everywhere. But they stopped her. We presented this to the international community, amongst other things. Them gazetting false information and not retracting it. Them putting false information on their website only with reference to us. With there being a fake party that was formed after the election was called and using a name similar to ours, and persons going out there campaigning and saying that they are with us and calling my name. We presented the evidence. And it was extremely concerning to them. And so, Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, if you think that you're going to steal this election, you have another thing coming. If you think that you're going to push this election to the PLP because you prefer for them to get in there rather than us, you have another thing coming. This ain't no game, buddy. We are standing up for this country. We are tired of the corruption. And I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. And no one is going to tell me I need to sit down and shut up. Not when it comes to our democracy. No one. And so I'm going to stand up to the Bahamian people. That is it, and that is all. We are meeting with another international body tomorrow, another one, and we are going to address them the same way, and we're going to inform them of the skullduggery as it relates to us, and that it only points to us. It seems to only be affecting us. And so we have already complained to the Parliamentary Commissioner about the stuff that we've experienced. Let me tell you something. Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, nothing you do is going to stop this. Nothing. And so as it relates to the presiding officer, we don't even think that he should be allowed to be the presiding officer moving forward, because he admitted that someone gave him instructions that were unlawful and he carried it out. That disqualifies him. That is Mr. Lewis, who coincidentally has the same last name as the FNM campaign general, Mr. Nigel Lewis, Dr. Nigel Lewis. We don't know the relation. But there was another woman in the room who was known to be an FNM, and that's at the primary poll with Mr. Lewis, an FNM crony, and that is Miss Debbie. I think her name is Strawn. I know her personally as an FNM insider. And of course, these people are present, and all of a sudden, the problem comes with Pine Woods poll. Now, so Village didn't have this issue. Sea Breeze, that were in the same building, didn't have this issue. But only Pinewood. Instructions were sent for. And you see that I approached him live on camera, and he couldn't deny a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that they will pay and do anything to stop this election. They will pay off whoever they have to pay off. But we have already informed the international community that of persons who were offered payments from other parties in this election. And they are concerned, their only concern is not a little small stuff, but their concern is that there's no disenfranchisement or anything that happens that would make the election illegitimate. What would happen in this case? The Commonwealth bodies could determine that they're not recognizing the Bahamas, the Bahamian elections. They can decide that whoever wins the election might not be recognized. International bodies can do that. You saw what happened with the Venezuela elections, where the United States government feels that they say that the president is the leader of the opposition. They're not recognizing the government of Venezuela. This can happen. And so we're asking the government to stop before 200,000 Bahamians come to the polls. Please stop. Let go. Let the chips fall where they may. If people are going to vote you out, let them. See you 5 years from now. Let them. Stop trying to disenfranchise Bahamians. We talked to them about the snap election and a lot of young people being disenfranchised after the Prime Minister guaranteed us that election was next year. Caused many people to not go and register, especially young people. And then called a snap election, went against his word, lied to the Bahamian people. How anyone could wear a red shirt in this country is beyond me. It is sick and sickening that you could see all this Prime Minister has done evil and still stand with it. We must stand as a Bahamian people. And that is what I wanted to do, to educate you about today. You have to stand up. And so we need your help. We need to be able to watch these polls. I don't trust the FNM and I don't trust the PLP. They would prefer to push this back to the PLP rather than let us get in there. Ladies and gentlemen, we need your help. We need volunteers. No, we don't have the big bucks to pay everyone a bunch of money and put $200 in a t-shirt, because we've not been here raping and robbing this country and getting these multi-million-dollar contracts for all these years. No. We've not been stealing your money from you in order to be able to give it back to you, give crumbs to you, to get you to do what we want. But we are here offering to stand up for you and to fight for you. Will you stand with us? Stand with us. Volunteer to work the polls. Get in touch with us. Let's get this thing right. Let's watch our ballot boxes. Actually, they didn't only do this in Pinewood, they did it in other places too. When the international community was watching, oh, it was perfect. It ran smooth. But because they watched, one of the polls. Oh, everything was smooth and perfect. They talked about how they saw them sealing the boxes. Why wasn't Pinewood sealed? And so we're going to request that that presiding officer is removed from Pinewood, because I don't know who he's taking instructions from. And unless that's the parliamentary commissioner or Jesus, he shouldn't be taking no instructions from nobody. But if they think that they're going to come in Pinewood and bully us, they better be ready for something else. This is a warning. Don't come in Pinewood with that. This is your warning. Don't bring that to CV battle polls. Don't think that you are going to walk over us or step over us in any kind of way. Presiding officer, you work for us. You're working on behalf of the Bahamian people. Catch yourself. That is it. That is all. And so we're going to make sure that the international community is watching what happens, so you don't stand up in that hot sun in vain. We're going to make sure that we've lodged whatever complaints we have with the proper authorities. Section 42 is the law that was broken. So if anyone has any question on why I said that what the PO did was unlawful, then that's Section 42 of the Parliamentary Elections Act. Listen, we coming for our country. Hate it or love it, we coming for our country. They're calling us the underdogs. They're saying that everything is stacked against us. Doesn't matter. The bigger they are, the harder they're going to fall. We come to them with the spirit of David, and we're going to strike them down and cut their head off and end their reign of terror. We're going to build a Bahamas that is for all Bahamians, that is to benefit all Bahamians, where Bahamians are going to be put first for the first time, where this country is going to be about us. That is the Bahamas that you are going to experience this week. If you choose, the new Bahamas is here this week. Talk to your friends and talk to your family. This is only going to come if you let it come. Nothing is going to change under another 5 years of Minnesota Brave, other than it's going to get worse. If you want more taxes, then vote for Minnesota Brave. That's simple. Because VAT is going to go up 15%. Do not come crying 3 months after election. Those they calling dates. When VAT goes up to 15% and say, oh, why are they doing this to us? You know that this is what they're going to do. You've been warned. Don't come crying. A year after that, when VAT goes up to 20%, you have been warned. Don't come crying when you see the crooked deals by the PLP, their family and friends. Because you were warned. You know what is coming. Don't come crying. Take it if you let it happen. But if you were those who stood up and stood against tyranny and stood against evil, then you have a right to cry out. But if you vote for the PLP or FNM, listen, no crying, take it. But if you stood with the new Bahamas, you will have a new Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I want to say to you today. I'm going to do a quick question and answer because I don't want to be long today. I got to get some rest to be able to knock out the rest of this week. We got a strong week ahead of us. You got to continue to evangelize. No, we cannot get to every door. It's impossible to get to every door in 3 weeks. And so some people are saying, oh, well, I don't know how we could vote for someone that I didn't see them. We vote for many people that we don't see. And it's impossible. And that's why Minnis did a snap election, because he knew that that's our culture. But you have to make a decision whether you want something new, something different, or you want to continue with the same old. Right? It's your choice. It's your choice. So I'm going to open for question and answers quickly. I'm going to do probably about 10 minutes of this, and then we're going to be out of here. So if someone could help me, with the questions, and that would be perfect, and I could get out of here very quickly. All right. Oh, just a reminder, tomorrow we're going to have a day of prayer for all of you who believe. I want you to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make the effort, set your alarm, and pray. Take a few minutes and pray. So that we have thousands of people across this country praying for this election, praying to end the skullduggery, praying for the new Bahamas, praying for God's protection over our entire team, praying for our strength, praying for our nation so that it's healed. And so we want you to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, if you're able to fast until sundown tomorrow. All right? I know Minister is having his day of prayer, but we having ours tomorrow. Continue.
Shirley Ferguson asks, did you ask them at the time this morning to seal the box?
No, I didn't ask them to seal the box. It's too late to seal the box. All of the persons who were there were supposed to be there to seal the box. I didn't want to tamper with the box in any way. Whatever skullduggery they do, they're going to pay for. All right? We're going to see this through to the end. So we didn't ask them to seal the box at that point. Remember, they wouldn't have the tools there. We just came to witness them removing the Family Island boxes to send them to another location. All right? And so that's why we were there. So they would not have had the wax, the government seal, etc., in their possession in order to do that. We just want to make sure that the Bahamian public knows what they are up to. Next.
star boy role, who is running for Andros?
Andros is in South Andros. We have a candidate, and that candidate is a former police officer, a very educated person with a master's degree. He's in education now. He teaches our young people. He's Mr. Trevor Green. All right, very very intelligent person. All right, he focuses on children with disabilities. All right, so that's who's running there. In North Andros, we do not have a candidate in North Andros, so we're working out some stuff. But do not vote for anyone that we didn't instruct you or advise you to vote for.
Denise Knowles asks, why did Minutes have a video out to say the FNM won the advance poll?
Because Minutes knows that he see when he said sorry. We spoke to the parliamentary commissioner today while we were at his office going over the ballots that came in from overseas. Alex Storr asked him about the same question. How could Minutes say that an investigation needs to be done? Right? There's no way he can know that. How would he know that? And so it means that Minutes is confident that whatever cheating they had done, he feels that they got it done. That's the only way he can be confident. Because he knows that they were going to try to steal the election with the advance poll, and so the only way he can feel confident is if he feels that they were able to do the skullduggery that they wanted to. I can't explain it any other way. But there's one thing that all of us know about Dr. Hubert Alexander Minutes: he lies. No one lies like him. Red.
Daddy Hot Best, where do we go to sign up to help at the polls?
You can come to our office in Pinewood. It's become our de facto headquarters because they call it snap election. You can come to our office in Pinewood. Ebony is online. She is coordinating a lot of that. You can get in contact with her, Facebook private messenger, and we can get you coordinated. You can say where you want to work and how you want to do it. We need volunteers. We need to watch this. We need people who are going to be strong. People, listen, I need some strong men and women who are going to stand up and not be pushovers, because they're going to try to test you. But you will notice every time, Bahamas, when you stand up, they always stand down. Don't you see it every time? But yet we have so much cowardice. Speaking to international persons there, they were like, why don't women stand up for certain things? This person was from Jamaica, and I said, listen, in Jamaica, you people would stand up for certain things. In Haiti, they'll stand up, but that's not behaving culture. We're most likely taught to love people over us and just respect them no matter what they do. No matter how they disrespect us, no matter how bad they treat us, no matter what is happening, we just take it. And then if anyone stands up, they say, you can't disrespect the position. When the person in the position isn't respecting the position by acting right in that position. Must speak truth to power. We drop that there. Let's go. Someone says, what about the other unsealed boxes? They're going to the family islands unsealed. That's what's happening. This is an election like we've never seen before. Only the family island boxes are unsealed and Pinewood. Minutes focus a lot of his campaign on the family islands. He's campaigning straight through, using the public purse, traveling back and forth to them. And so those boxes are unsealed. Pinewood Gardens is unsealed. And we know, based on this confession, that the presiding officer is giving those instructions. Next question.
It's the High Priest Whitman McKinney Silver COI. I didn't see him at the park yesterday.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He has some physical ailments, as you can see, how he walks, etc. Sometimes he's not well, sometimes he is. But yes, he is, as far as I know. Someone says, where can I get a shirt? Find with headquarters.
Where is the Freetown office?
The Freetown office is in Camp Road and Bar 20 Corner. Right on the corner. It used to be a snack food place. Right at the light on Camp Road. Right, the light in the middle of Camp Road, right where the old gas station is. The Freetown office is right there. So some people treat that as our northern headquarters, and some people treat this in Pinewood as our southern headquarters.
Belinda the Dale Russell asks, Debal Russell asks, what about the other unsealed boxes?
Yeah, I answered that already. The other unsealed boxes are still unsealed, right? And that's the state that we're in right now. We're trying to. Someone asked about the next motorcade. It was not a motorcade. The next one we're having is a rally. That rally really got rained out. And I really want to thank everyone who came and stood up in that rally in the rain. The sound wasn't good. The sound equipment was getting wet. You could see one of the performers perform without music. The sound equipment was getting wet in the rain, but we wanted to keep going. And I respect the fact that Bahamians don't do rain. All right? Some of our women don't want to get our hair wet. Some of our men don't want to get our clothes wet, right? So, but they stood up in the rain and got wet, some with no umbrellas. They stood in the rain, stayed parked in their cars because they wanted to stand with us. They were there all day from that morning. And so, I want to thank you for that. Right? Thank you for standing up. So the next one is going to be a rally. We're trying to get permission for it. If not, we just continue going door to door, talking to people. And then we have to do, we're going to try to get it for Tuesday if we can. But stay tuned. I'll go live tomorrow and let you know if you were able to arrange it.
Rika J. Pritchard asks, good day, Mr. Bain. You said once you win the government, you would end the emergency orders. How would this affect the person still on furlough and who still need assistance from NIB?
Really a great question. All right. Persons need to get their money. All right. Persons are still being fired. We heard talks that Atlantis is going to be firing more persons. This continuously happens. All right. So the persons on furlough, you need your money. You should not be sitting down in limbo. And so we believe that something should be in place for you. I think it was wrong to look out for the hotels and not the Bahamian people. So that you would have to be sitting and sitting and sitting, not getting your money. And the hotel doesn't have to pay you until 90 days after. We are going to change that law immediately. That was wrong. I think it was a crime against humanity, and it was a crime against the laborers in this country. It was a crime, in my opinion, and it should not have happened. And so payments we are starting with a stimulus payment of $2,000. We're starting with that, the same way Turks and Caicos did when the new government took over there. Because we believe that we have to stimulate this economy, stimulate people. The money's going to come right back to the government through taxes that are still in place. So as you go and spend that money in the Bahamas, you're going to pay VAT, customs duty, all this kind of stuff is going to happen. And so some of that money is going to come right back to us. And so that's what we're going to do as a government. Next question.
Ryan asks, why don't we put cameras to watch the boxes?
Yeah, I suggested that in the parliamentary office today. I told all of those working in there, all of the staff, with the commissioner present, that once we take this over, next time, there's going to be a fully transparent process, no need for secrets and secrecy. The ballot boxes are going to be sealed properly moving forward. It's going to be in a secure room with cameras that are watched 24 hours a day. That you can go online and see the ballot boxes. Anyone who goes in there, you can see them. You can see what they are doing. You can watch all of the ballot boxes. Why not? That's our boxes. That's our votes. Why does it need to be secrecy? Any Bahamian will be able to go there at any time and watch the boxes. That will be the new procedure. And whenever they are doing any transaction with the boxes, you'll be able to watch everything that they're doing, hear everything that they're saying in that room. Why should it be secret? And I said that to all of them, that once you see we take over this government this week, they can expect a change. All of them agreed that this needs to happen. All right? So no more secrecy with these ballot boxes.
Okay, Ebony McCall asks, will Pinewood votes from the advance polls be void?
No, they won't be. But if we find any skullduggery with it, there will be possibilities for challenges. All right, so I'll just leave that there for legal reasons. I'll leave it right there.
Okay, Andrea Abigail asks, do you attend to address persons who would have received a criminal record from curfew violation?
Yes, we're going to wipe all criminal records from curfew violations. Anyone who has received a ticket recently, you can tear that up. This is wrong. And in fact, we plan to refund everyone who has received a ticket under this evil administration. We plan to refund you your monies that you paid to this government. There were grandmothers who got tickets for going out there to try to get some water, while persons in wealthy areas had little restrictions. There was no lockdowns out west, but lockdowns in the Fox Hill area, lockdown all over this country, but certain people were not touched. We were locked out of our countries while anyone could come and a foreigner could come and jump on their private plane and get in there. Foreigners were landing in private planes to certain keys. In Nassau also, yachts were pulling up while we were locked out. No, we have to right the wrongs. Next question.
Raynell Smith asks, will the hotel union come back and the workers reinstated back on their jobs?
Say that one more time.
Will the hotel union come back and the workers reinstated back on their jobs?
I don't understand the question. I said the hotel union will come back. I can't speak to the hotel union, but let me tell you something. You are going to think that your government is a union fighting for you. There won't even be any need for unions after you experience the new Bahamas for about 2 years. Your government is going to stand up for you against these foreigners. The reason the foreigners rule is because they pay off the politicians. They help pay for elections. They help pay when they want to buy some computers for their little community center. When they want to have a little cookout, they provide the food for the cookout. And so they suck up to them, and that's why they look out for them and not you. You're going to think your government is a union. Because anyone who violates a Bahamian in this country is going to experience the wrath of the Bahamian government. They will be here, they will be welcome, they will be treated with respect and love. But if they try to mistreat Bahamians, that's going to be the end of it. Next question.
Raynell Smith asks, will VAT be decreased?
VAT is going to be initially decreased and then eliminated. VAT is going to be eliminated. Someone say, but you need VAT. No, don't. We just got VAT a few years ago. We just got it a few years ago. We don't need VAT. We've existed without VAT for a very long time. We do not need VAT. We just have governments with no vision. Remember, that's what the minister said when they were initially bringing VAT? Oh, that's lazy government. That's government with no vision. That's why they're bringing VAT. We don't need it. And then when he came in, he increased it even more. Because you all keep falling for this PLPF nonsense. We don't need VAT. There are other ways for our country to benefit. VAT is going to be a thing of the past. Next question.
Fenric Russell asks, what happens if both PLP and FNM have a tie and we are needed for a win?
If they have a tie, and we're so let's say the PLP has 19, the FNM has 19, and we have 1. You say we strongly believe that that is not going to be the case. We are going for the win. There is no plan B. There's not a scenario where we're interested in working with these corrupt parties. They need to go. We believe that we are going to win this based on what we're seeing on the streets. If there is one, let me tell you something. If it's a scenario where that happens, then the PLB and FNM gonna have to join together. The PLB and FNM, you all perform because you all are ready together. Watch them. If that happens, I guarantee you, before they let me come in government, you will see them join. Then they can be exposed. Watch them. Remember I said this. Watch them. Ladies and gentlemen, one term in government, and you all would realize that you never want to go back there again. That's one term. When you see how Bahamians are treated, it's one term. Even one term in opposition, me in charge of the Public Accounts Committee, as leader of the opposition, holding their foot to the fire. Here's something. I will have Minister Aubrey Davis before me every single week. What this check for? Who did that go to? Is that your family or friend? We will jail them. One term as a leader of the opposition, and the whole Bahamas would want us to be government. Next.
Mies Mercado asks, how are you prepared to deal with corrupt pastor in the ministry for profit, personal gain, and manipulation to their vulnerable congregation?
Yeah, we can't interfere with religion and things that relate to religion. But if you are in any ministry where it's all about money, I would advise you to remove yourself. If you choose to give away your funds to the persons because, because they sell religion, or because they're selling you trinkets, or they're promising you stuff, or you're paying for prophecies and that kind of stuff, then that's on you. But wake up. All right? Prayer should be free. The love of God is free. Prophecy is free. There are some genuine people out there, but there are also genuine persons who are not. But we can't touch, as it relates to religion. The government can't get involved in that. But I would advise you to think twice. Next.
Vishindel Roma asks, if COI wins, will immigration fees be reduced to facilitate the hiring of foreign labor to work in Bahamian-owned businesses?
Will immigration
fees be reduced to facilitate the hiring of foreign labor to work in Bahamian-owned businesses?
Yes, so we're going to make money of volume. We have plans where we're going to build this new Bahamas the way Dubai and Qatar and all these countries build up so quickly. We have an aggressive plan to build this country up, and we're going to need help. We're going to need help from persons from around the world, professionals from around the world, and so yes, we're going to reduce the cost of fees for immigrants coming in here, but working for Bahamians. All right. And so that's what this is going to be. All right. We're going to need help. Someone said, "Oh, if you give each Bahamian $100,000, who's going to work? Foreigners are going to work." That's what happens in all developed countries. Foreigners come in and work for those who actually own the economy, and so that's how it's going to be here. All right. Next question. All right. And so we just want to remind you that. Not only did we talk about these other benefits, we also talked about Crown land. Crown land is a right. It belongs to Bahamians. It belongs to us. This is not giveaways. We're not interested in handouts or freebies. We want what's ours. Why is it that the foreigners come here and you will give them 500,000 acres of Crown land just like that? About 150,000 Bahamian adults in this country. You can give each of us an acre of Crown land. That's only 150,000 acres. But a foreigner will come in, you will give them 100,000 acres like that. Why can't you do this to empower Bahamians? Those days are over. So you could vote to empower the politicians, or you could vote to empower yourself. That's your decision now. You got another one?
One Tech Johnson asks, will the corruption in Bahamas Air be dealt with the mistreatment of line staff who are not supervisors or management?
Oh, you got to read that one more time.
One Tech Johnson asks, will the corruption in Bahamas Air be dealt with? The mistreatment of the line staff who are not supervisors or management?
we're going to clean up the airports because a lot of what we do has to do with the airports. Bahamas Air, we want to invest heavily in Bahamas Air. One of the first things that Dubai did, Qatar did, was invest in the airline. Because if you want to become a country that really brings in tourists and tourism, you need the air traffic. And why not have your country be the ones to do it? Qatar Air is an amazing airline. It's one of the world's best. And that's what Qatar invested in. We're going to invest in Bahamas Air. We're going to make this run properly. No politicians at the helm, but real people with skills at the helm of Bahamas Air. You got Tommy Turnquest running Bahamas Air right now. Like, what is that? Tommy Turnquest is running Bahamas Air. Why? Because it's a political appointment. No. We need professionals. There are Bahamian professionals. There's a Bahamian actually managing JetBlue. They're making a profit. A Bahamian is running JetBlue in the Bahamas. They're making a profit. Why is Bahamas in the situation it's in? Anything where the politicians have their hands and it's corruption, that's where the problem comes in. When you see parts need to be bought, they are buying expensive parts because certain Bahamians have the contract. And so the more parts they buy, the more money these corrupt politicians make. It's just like DC and the generators. We're going to fix Bahamas Air. And yes, we're looking at investing in electric airlines. All right? We put on our website, we gave an example of electric airlines that we're looking at. All right? Give an example of it. And so that's what we're looking to go into. All right? Next question.
Maynard Jr. Eaton asks, will the Christian Council hold any weight in your administration?
Christian Council. The Christian Council will hold zero weight in our administration. That does not mean that there's something wrong with believing in God, etc., etc. But the Christian Council doesn't have any weight. The Christian Council is kind of divided and conflicted. We don't have time for that mess in government. We need qualified Bahamians from all walks of life to come and contribute to building the new Bahamas. That is what we need, not a highfalutin organization. Now, there is some churches that give to people. There's some churches who actually help. They have some programs that help young people. We're going to make sure that if they're involved in these kinds of activities, that they benefit. We're going to help them. If they are helping young people, they have good programs. We're going to make sure that we assist them in doing so. And so it's going to be based on merit, right? And that's it.
Kevin Moss asks, will there be a tax for private citizens to import gold for long-term investment assets?
No, there'll be no tax on the import of gold. That changes the price of it, and so we don't want to tax the import of gold. That's the same thing that they did. Remember, the first thing that the Minister Administration did was they removed taxes from portraits. So, like a Picasso painting or one of those paintings, you don't have to pay taxes on it anymore, because actually portraits are a currency. The wealthy use it to move money around. So if they have a portrait that is worth $1 million, they can transport that from one country to the next. They're really moving $1 million around. And so they remove the taxes from it because you don't want to have to pay tax on $1 million every time it moves around. And so that's how they work, moving their money without having to go to the banking system. They invest in portraits, and that's what all that stuff is about, right? And so moving gold around, you don't want to tax it because gold actually is a currency. It's deeper than what I just said, but I'll leave it at that shallow level, just you can understand it. Next question.
Alicia Ambitious Thompson wrote, will a new hospital be constructed, and what area will it be in?
Oh my, you seem to have missed our live when we talked about that. We had a live and we talked about our new hospital, our new health city. Oh my God, I wish I could go over it again. We got to start putting some of these videos out there where they can see if they missed our lives. We've already drawn the plans for the hospital. It's going to be in the southwest area. It's going to be on Glasson Road. We're already looking at property where we're going to put this health city. And this health city, everything is free as it relates to medical, right, for Bahamians. Again, there are not millions of us. just a few 100,000 of us. Other countries with millions of people, healthcare is free. Why can't we do this for our people? In every country in Europe, healthcare is free. In Canada, healthcare is free. Now, some people have an insurance plan, some people don't, they just have it free. But different areas of the world, it's free. They even tried to do Obamacare, but it kind of got blocked. Healthcare should be free. Healthcare is a human right. You have a right for the government to come, if your house is on fire, for the government to come and out that fire to save your house. Why can't they help save your life? You don't have to pay for the fire truck to save your house, but you have to pay for them to save your life when you are contributing to this society. Think about that. Next question.
Tabari Stewart asks, how confident are you as it pertains to early polls? What was the feedback from the candidates?
I'm very confident that based on the early polls that the police officers, the defense officers, the prison officers went with us. I'm confident by the fact that the vast majority of people, very few people, were wearing any political paraphernalia, whether it's PLP or FNM. And so that lets us know that people are ready to change. And based on what we are seeing, we are expecting a change.
Kevin Moss asks, will there be rent control in the overhill areas?
It depends on what you mean by rent control. You can't tell someone what to charge for their rent, but definitely the conditions that you live in need to be enforced. You shouldn't have landlords having people living in shabby conditions, collecting money every week or every month, and not doing something, fixing up the place. This cannot be tolerated. There's going to be massive housing programs. We talked about, you can see some of it on our website if you go under the vision and then you look at our plan for renewable energy. You will see what we plan to do with this new housing program. And it's going to be mind-blowing to see what happens there. Go ahead. Someone asked about the Port Authority. What about their contract? That has Grand Bahama economy and port conditions. We have already said this over and repeatedly, that we're going to make them a deal that they offer that they cannot refuse. We need to control the Port Authority. The fate of the Bahamas lies in Grand Bahama and Abaco. The fate of the Bahamas lies in Grand Bahama and Abaco. We must build them. We must build them. And next, we must build up the Southern Islands. The new Bahamas is going to be built on developing our Southern Islands and an exodus from New Providence into our Southern Islands. We have all this space, all these islands and keys, but no one with vision to spread this thing out, to make things happen. That's because all of your politicians are stuck right here in Nassau. The people with the money, they're stuck right here in Nassau for the most part. And so that's why the problem comes in, because they can only focus on so many things, just like you. And so why would they focus on Big Warner or Auckland's, etc.? And they'll never go there. They don't care about that. The people with the money in Nassau, they don't want to do anything in Auckland's. And so this is where the problem comes in. The development of the rest of the family islands is what we have to do. So we're gonna give them an offer they can't refuse in Grand Bahama. And we're gonna rebuild Grand Bahama. Right? So that meeting, once the country blacks out, the meeting with Grand Bahama will be called for next week. It will be one of the first things we do. We're calling for a meeting with Sarah and the rest of the team at the Port Authority for next week, so that we can decide what we're going to do with that. We have some amazing plans for Grand Bahama. I don't want to preempt it. All right? Next.
Siobhan Maki Evans, she made a statement. Can you please speak on how to mark your X?
So marking your X is pretty simple. They're going to give you the foil. Remember, the ink is going to be on your hand. No mess up the ballot. You go in there and you just mark your X. You can actually do a tick also. Make sure it stays in the box. All right. So I don't know what sense that makes because ticks are normally. But if you want to mark an X, mark an X. Most of you Rastafarians want to do a tick, so you can do a tick. All right. And so we'll be marking X's. But you can also do a tick if you're a Rastafarian because they don't believe in marking X because you're saying that this is wrong. So it doesn't make sense to them. So they want to do a tick. If you want to do a tick, then you can do your tick. You just need to show and indicate that this was your intention. Next question.
Devo asks, do you have a process to vet persons to help with all of your government ministries? Example, streamlining policies, processes, and procedures.
Yes, we do. For the last several months, excuse me, we've been planning out the New Bahamas. And so you would have seen it if you're watching our lives, you would have seen that we're planning this thing out thoroughly. We can't say everything that we're going to do, but we're going to put certain things in place. And remember, the biggest part of what we're doing is in our good governance plan, where you can see how we're going to change how everything works, how government works, how the processes work. We're taking power away from the Prime Minister. That's the first thing. We're taking power away from the members of Parliament. We're having city government. Go watch that and you will see what the plan is for that. And it just simply makes sense. And so our government will be different. It'll work like how it works in actual cities where you have a mayor and people responsible for getting stuff done, not the politician. The politician shouldn't, the member of Parliament shouldn't be determining who cuts the grass on the side of the road. That's not a member of Parliament's job. Right? We should have proper city government to get these stuff done. Right? Just a couple more questions and we gotta go.
Stanley Johnson asks, how long will it take for us in North Auckland to get good potable water?
Listen, I am Auckland's man. Bain, hasty times. Auckland's man. Auckland's is going to be revamped. Auckland's is going to be put on the map, and Crooked Island are going to be put on the map. We don't think that people should be living without potable water. It is a human right. We are going to invest in it. It's going to make sense because we're going to be doing certain things, particularly with farming, etc. That's going to send people back to Auckland. You see the beaches that you guys have. Why aren't we investing in Auckland and Crooked Island and making them tourist hubs, exclusive tourist hubs, where millionaires would want to go, not the regular tourists? Do you see the beaches in Auckland and Crooked Island? How no one has invested in these islands yet is just mind blowing to me. Let an Auckland's Crooked Island man get it done. Vote for the Coalition of Independence in Auckland's. Our candidate is P. Andrew Bow, Philin Bow. I'm not sure which one is on the ballot, but it's look for our logo. Look for our logo. Yeah, that's it right there. Look for this logo and vote for that. All right? Vote for the logo. Thank you.
Ian Bethel asks, well, he made a statement, there is no candidate that are addressing the immigration problem.
I have been addressing the immigration problem for months now. Sometimes it's gotten me in hot water. Some people appreciate it, some people don't. But I have addressed the immigration problem on several occasions. We put out there the solution that we're going to have for immigration, that we're going to enforce immigration. Some people like some things, some people, it depends on what side of the aisle you're on. But immigration is going to be dealt with seriously in this country. It's going to be important. We're going to have immigrants in this country working, but you're going to come here properly. You're going to come here properly, and you're going to be on a work permit to work here. All right? We're going to enforce that. You're going to be on a work permit. It won't be hard for you to get. If you have a job, you can work here. It's like Canada. You can go there as a tourist to Canada, and if you find a job, they'll let you stay. You got 6 months. You find a job, you can stay. So the problem with our immigration is they're competing, and they feel that immigrants are competing with us for certain, certain jobs, et cetera. But once we own this country and we're benefiting from this country and we're the ones with the businesses, we're going to want immigrants to come in and work for us. All right? We talked about our plans for the Southern Islands. We're going to put up what they call a seawall, and that's a special radar system. I know that the U.S. just donated one. We're doing it a different way where it goes out into the sea. And it's going to make sure that no one can come into our country illegally. No drugs, no immigrants, no nothing. We're going to do that. The showdown is going to stretch from Cuba all the way over to Turks and Caicos. A seawall, not a literal wall. This is a radar kind of system. like in the deck, all right? And we're going to use drones to help with that. In terms of being here, if you're an immigrant and you're here, you're going to have to be here on a work permit on a job, and you're not going to live in a shanty town. We are going to eradicate shanty towns in the Bahamas. No how fair. We're going to treat people with dignity and decency. We're going to start to build housing projects that immigrants can come and work in. These housing projects are going to be owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund. So that means you. So as the immigrants come and live in them, they're going to pay rent. And guess what? That money goes to all Bahamians. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. A notification popped up on my phone just now. And so all Bahamians are going to benefit from that because the money from it is going to go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. As we build these communities for immigrants who come here to work for Bahamians now, for Bahamians, they're going to pay rent. And as we build them, we're going to get rid of shanty towns. So they'll have somewhere to go. So you're not going to break it down and tell them go in the bush. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to find somewhere else to go. And so we're going to do this reasonably and responsibly, and they must have jobs. When, for example, Haitian immigrants move to Miami or to New York or to Quebec, they don't live in shanty towns. They live in proper community. They live in a house. They live in an apartment. And we're going to make sure that that is done for them because no one should be living in those circumstances. All right? No one should be. All right? They have them living like animals. They come here to work for these oligarchs, and they have them living like animals. And so they're going to be registered here, and that means that they can have a bank account, a driver's license, and they can operate. They don't have to operate underground, excuse me, causing another society within the society. You're going to be treated like humans. Many Bahamians have immigrated to the U.S. and other places. And we live in apartments, we live in houses, and you can open a bank account. So we're going to give them a chance to do things properly. All right? And so this is what we want to do. So we hope everyone appreciates that. So that's what's going to happen in this country. Go ahead.
Kristen Miller asks, will you invest in renewable energy resources such as solar, wind, wave power generators?
On our website, you will see our plan for energy reform. Under the vision, you can look in there and you can see it's a drop-down tab. You can see our plan for energy reform. Yes, all government vehicles are going to be electric. All. So these government red plate cars you see driving around, all, because that's costing us gas. All right? All of those cars have to be repaired constantly. And so that's costing us money to keep repairing these cars, keep servicing these cars. Electric cars, you don't have to repair or service them like that. The cost goes down dramatically. But what you save on fuel and repairs, that covers the cost of the car very easily. The diesel trucks, etc., that they have around BC and Defense Force and other places, we're going to replace them with electric trucks. In that plan, we showed you the trucks that we're looking at. And now, when a diesel truck goes down, $10,000 to $15,000 to repair that. For simple things. All right. And so it's very expensive to repair. And so we're going to make sure that we fix that. And so, yes, we're going electric, we're going hydro, all that stuff. Just go look at the plan and tell us what you think. Go ahead.
Tabari Strawn asks, what about securing the benefits of the Sovereign Wealth Fund? What will you do to stop future governments from taking that privilege away?
We're going to allow the Bahamian people to contribute to this law and make it difficult to take away by doing a referendum to add it to our constitution. And that way, for them to change it and take it away, they have to do a referendum to get the Bahamian people to vote to take it away from themselves. And so shortly after we get in government, we're going to ask you to approve a referendum that secures a sovereign wealth fund for the future of the Bahamian people. We're going to ask you to go to referendum and vote so that the politicians cannot take this back without going to you. And so please, Bahamas, vote for yourselves this time. Don't vote for Brave just to say that, oh, it's his turn. Come on, man. Shame about him. It's for us out here who's suffering money straight. Minute straight. These fellas you all fighting for, they straight. They don't have to go to the hospitals you go to. That's why they don't care about the hospital. You get right up in the rear, they don't care. They don't have to go to Princess Margaret Hospital. They don't. Why should they care? They don't care about education. Their children don't have to go to those schools. Why should they care? They don't care about the price of gas. They're getting free gas. Wake up, Bahamas. You're fighting for these politicians and they're not fighting for you. Wake up. You're in a one-way relationship. They don't love you. You loving them, but they ain't loving you. They on their own run. They sucking off you and then treating you bad and beating you. And then you leave them and go to the next fella. You do the same thing and then you come right back to him. You dating two brothers and the two of them treating you bad. And you're going back and forth between the two brothers. Next question.
Kevin Moss asks, will the city
CCTV.
will the city CCTV program be offered private security firms?
When you say offered private security firms.
Offered by private security firms, I guess.
No, the CCTV program is going to be controlled by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Private firms will be allowed to have contracts to provide these so that we can make sure Bahamians are making some money. We're going through Bahamian firms, all right? And it's going to be put out there. If you look at our good governance, you're going to see how you can get certain contracts. We're going to make sure Bahamians get a piece of this pie. But government, the police is going to be operating them, but the contract is going to go to Bahamian firms. Every contract is going to go to Bahamian firms, all right? And so you may say that they don't make CCTV cameras there. Yeah, Bahamian firm is going to have the contract to go buy them elsewhere and bring it here. We're not going to cut them out and go to a foreign country to get it and bring it in and cut out Bahamians. The more the money bounces in our society, the better it is. Next question.
Sarah Duncan asks, what about court cases stalled in the courts? The Bahamas has the longest civil still going on, over 26 years without a ruling.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And it's one of the things, one of the strategies, we're going to have to really revamp the justice system. Because one of the strategies of people with money is to clog the court case up in the courts so that you will run out of money. That is a strategy of the people with money when they're going against people they think have no money. And so they will just file this paperwork, file for this, file for that, clog everything up, this petition, that petition, because they know your lawyer is going to keep coming to you every time you have to go to court. And as long as this extends, eventually you're going to run out of money. And I think that's a crime against humanity. And so we're looking to fix that. Where there's going to be the option in the States, if you sue, the lawyer can actually take the case, sue on your behalf, and they get a percentage when the case is finished. But that is not the case here, all right? So that is going to protect it, make sure that the law is not only for the rich, because the poor can't afford court cases. They can't, because the upfront cost really hurts, and so only the rich are able to sue. So we're going to do it the way it's done in the United States. I've experienced that before. I've sued over there. We won the case in the end, and then in the end, we just the lawyer got his percentage, and he sent us ours, and we didn't have to pay not $1, not $1 for a major lawsuit that I was involved in. We were suing some persons over there. All right. When you go to the doctor don't charge you $1 if it's involving a case, a lawsuit. They don't charge you $1. You get all your medical, your therapy, and everything, and they get paid after the case. Lawyers here, some lawyers take cases knowing that they're going to lose. So you have to be careful what lawyer you go to, because when you go to the lawyer, they're going to say, "Yeah, man, you could win this. Yeah, that person wronged you." They know they're going to lose, but guess what they're going to tell you? All right, go find me some money. You can find me $5,000. Okay, you ain't got it? Okay, give me $2,000. Let me start the process. Because they just want to get that money from you. And every time you look, they can be asking for more and more. Man, that $2,000 gone. You got another $1,000? Go bring it. Or what some of the old school lawyers did, they say, okay, give me a piece of property, let me hold on that. And so the property worth $50,000, you owe the lawyer $15,000, but you don't have the 15, so they take the whole property. This is the kind of stuff that has been going on. We got to make sure that this stops. Justice must be for everyone. All right, persons serve loud music passing. And so justice has to be for everyone. We're going to make sure that you have justice. All right. So, for example, you're going to have a free attorney legal aid from the station. You're going to be able to call your legal aid. Not when you get the court, they assign something to you if you're in the Supreme Court. No, this is going to be the case from you are at the station. All right. Don't open your mouth. Don't talk to nobody. If you can't afford a lawyer, they call a lawyer for you. How is this going to help? There are probably about 1,300 to 1,500 lawyers in this country right now. Many of them are broken off a job. And we're going to make sure that they get paid because they're helping out. They're going to be rated. And so if they're not giving you good and proper service, they're going to lose their opportunity and could even lose their license if they're not giving you the proper service. All right? And so these are some of the things that we want to do with the justice system to make sure that Bahamians don't suffer in this country ever again. Next question.
Kristen Miller asks, in terms of our historical sites and areas that are run down and aren't much to look at, will you be launching a restoration project to have our tourist attractions visitor ready?
Yes, definitely. We already released our tourism plan. Go look at our tourism plan. Now, this government is trying to sell off all of our heritage sites, our 66 steps, our forts, etc., to the chairman of the FNM and other persons involved, Nigel, Lewis, etc., who are FNM insiders. And there's something. Y'all get ready. Because if y'all think that y'all are going to steal everything that is Bahamian and everything that is ours from us, they've given away everything. The only thing we had left was our forts and other stuff. They trying to give that away too. This is in the middle of an election season, no House of Parliament, lamed up government, and they still proving to give away our heritage sites. They are raping and robbing us. And the PLP is waiting to come and do the same thing. Talk to your family and talk to your friends, yeah? Because it's going to get worse. Remember, the PLP is trying to sell Batel Code to themselves for free on credit. Remember that? To a company called Blue Water that they owned. Obama said, you think this country is going to be any better? Some people say, oh, but the PLP is nice. They just help people. Listen, man, if you still in the crumbs, then so be it. We haven't seen me into no crumbs, man. Help? We looking for no help. We want was ours. Next question.
Charles Williams asks, what are your plans concerning freedom of information?
Freedom of Information Act is going to be actually put in place immediately. All right? Within the first couple of weeks, we're going to put that in place. We have to rewrite the laws that Minutes and those did, because the one that they're proposing is just garbage. They're saying that they can give you the information, but if they don't want to, they don't have to. They don't have to give you anything. And so, of course, you know why they stalled, because they're crooked and corrupt, just like the PLP was. We're going to give it to you. And that's right away. Right.
Chrissy Brown asks, why can't we end the name change by deed poll? This is pure identity theft. And aren't we overdue for true census on who is here in our country? Too many illegal immigrants.
Say the first part again.
Why can't we end name change by deed poll? This is pure identity theft. And aren't we overdue for true census on who is in our country? Too many illegal immigrants.
Yeah, we cannot, listen, you cannot steal someone's identity by deed poll. You can have the same name as someone else. That can happen without deed poll. But we have persons who may be foreigners who change their names, so they don't appear to be foreigners by changing their name to a more Bahamian name. They do that by deed poll. It's a less complicated way to do it. Some people change name because their name is actually misspelled. There's other reasons that people need to change their name. We have a process in place that's going to be able to identify you from your born. All All right. When you're born, we're gonna assign an identity to you. You're gonna have your identity card. You're leaving the hospital with your passport, and we know that's you. You have your biometrics. We know who you are from you are born, and so you don't have to go and fight to get passport, stand in line, and that kind of stuff. You'll never have to stand in line for passport again. You apply online, and we send you your passport. We use the blockchain in order to identify it's you, and so it's going to make a lot of things much easier. And so I don't want to really reveal everything we want to do with that right now. But when the baby is born, they have a barcode that they put on their on their wrists or their feet, wherever they're going to put it, and has a barcode on there that they can identify that is that baby. So it's going to stop babies from being misidentified or having the wrong baby. Yes, maybe you find out it's not your baby, and so with that they can identify who the baby is. That makes sure there's no mistake. With that blockchain type QR code that we're going to put on the barcode QR code, they're going to be able to identify that baby to the mother, make sure that there's no mistake, and you're going to leave the hospital. Just like in the States, with Bahamians who have gone to the States to have a baby, they leave the hospital with the baby's passport. No having to go register the baby. That process is done at the hospital. At the hospital, we know who you are. You don't have to go to anywhere separate. If you're born here, we need to make sure there's no mistake. There's no need to go get any affidavit to say that you were born here, but your parents were not responsible and didn't register you. There are people who are going through that in this country. Their parents were slack and didn't register them. And so they don't have certain things. And there's a long, arduous process. No. If you were born here, we're going to know you're born here because now you're entitled to certain things in this country. And so we're going to take care of that from the beginning. All right? So next question.
Mona Lisa Smith asks, since the Family Island ballot boxes are not sealed, will they be challenged at court?
We'll answer that after the election. All right? But there's a lot of room for skullduggery, and we know that that's why they did it. And we're going to talk about that after the election. Certain things that we have strategized, we don't want to let ministers know what's coming because then they're just going to prepare in a certain way. But those ballot boxes are not sealed for the Family Islands. There's corruption and crookedness going on. And so I'm saying to the presiding officers watching right now, I'm going to ask you to step down, right, for crying wood, because we need to know who told you to break the law. To the parliamentary commissioner, we need you to remove Mr. Lewis. Thank you.
Starboy will ask, will the passport system be changed because it's sickening?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The passport system is going to be all digital now. And so you're not going to have to stand in a line. Listen, why do you have to go full out this information to renew your passport? They have all the information. It's already in the system. You should be able to just say that this is proof that this is me, and you can do it through the blockchain. Send me my passport, and they send you your passport, or they have you come and pick it up somewhere. But filling out all this form, signing along the line, all this kind of stuff, no, it's not necessary. There are going to be ways to identify it's you who's getting this. You apply for your passport. When you come and show up, we can prove that it's you. All right? All we need to know that you're alive and you're the person applying for the passport, and that's it. You don't have to submit anything. Those days are going to change.
Madam Octave, any changes for the school system?
I just wanted to say also, there's going to be no standing in line for anything. When I went to law school in England at Buckingham, when I bought a car, and when I bought that car, I didn't have to stand in line anywhere. I went online, or you could go on the phone, you apply, they know the car, because the car is in the system. You say you're the buyer, you show your proof of whatever, and they send all of your documentation to your house, directly to your house. Okay? And so that's how we want to get this done. We're going to the new world. We don't want to stand in lines. So we're going to allow P.O. boxes. We're looking at the legalities of persons who tamper with your P.O. box. In the States, they charge you heavily if you tamper with mailboxes, right? You will go to jail for a long time because it's an important part of it. But you should be able to order something on Amazon and it comes straight to your door. All right? And so we're going to have a zip code system where each house is marked out properly, and so anything can come straight to your door, to your mailbox or whatever situation it is. And so when you go and you buy a car from someone, etc., you want to make it so that the processes are simple. You need your new driver's license. We can identify who you are. You apply for your driver's license, and we send that driver's license to you. All right. There's some security stuff that we're going to put in the system to make sure that it's you through the blockchain and through other ways. I showed you already how Estonia does it. They have a card that verifies that that card is you. So we're going to show you all of this in the very near future. All right. Next week we're going to start on these conversations with you. All right. But we need a country that works. That's what we need. Vision. Next question.
First painting contractor and renovations asks, what can you do about our traffic problem?
Oh, sorry. Someone had asked about education before that. All right. So we had asked about the education.
Any changes for the school system?
Yes, there's going to be a lot of changes for the school system, and that is all laid out perfectly on our website. On our website, you can go to our education platform under the vision, and you can see all of the changes that's there. I don't want to take this time because I've been talking for 2 hours now. I want to come to the end, but just go there and you're going to see all of the changes. That person asks what?
What can you do about our traffic problem?
The first thing we can do is get more people to move out of New Providence. All right, that's going to help with our traffic problem. We talked about connecting our islands. We talked about investing in our southern islands to make sure that people have a reason to go back, to move home, to move to Auckland, to move to Crooked Island, move to these islands, to depopulate New Providence. The next thing is our islands need to be organized properly. All right, we can't build much overhead like they do in the States. We can't build much of them, but we can go underground. And so we can go underground. We can do tunnels because we have a small area. And so we're investigating all of these things. All right. We have a serious traffic problem, but I think that we have the solution for them. All right. Not to go over, because you can't really build a freeway from the south to Nassau because you don't own all the properties in between. You can't put the pillars in people's yards. And so the better way might be to do like the Bain company is doing in Chicago and in LA right now. Just go underneath the water table, go under. And so from out east to downtown, from downtown to out west, to the south, to the southwest, you could have a tunnel that focuses on that, and it gets rid of some of the traffic. You can get that built for free by the Bain tunnel. Of course, it's going to be a toll. You pay the toll to avoid having to deal with traffic. All right? And we don't change the landscape. We're putting all these freeways all over the place. Next question.
Chrissy Brown asks, what is the plan for the dilapidated and shabby downtown area? Where is the authenticity of the Bahamas and our Bahamian people in terms of food, music, product, and image? Too much foreign ownerships and influence.
Oh, yes. We've released all of this on our plan for tourism. Go to that plan. You can see what we're going to do to downtown area to transform it, especially the eastern side. We're going to transform that. We showed you plans in there. We showed you exactly what we're doing there. We're going to turn Bay Street into the area that's for pedestrians only. All right. You drive around Wood Rogers Wharf. You drive around Shirley Street, but Bay Street from George Street, to Parliament Street, Russell Square area is going to be pedestrians only. All right, that's pedestrians only. And so we're going to have a lot of activity out there where people, just like at Times Square, I don't know if you've ever been to Times Square, but there's people, acrobats, people beating on drums, doing different stuff, and they do it for tips. So this is the activity in Times Square. They encourage it, and so we're going to encourage that too. Bahamians who have talent, go out there and do the limbo dance and do all the stuff you do, fire dance, etc. in the streets. Tables and chairs are going to be in the streets. We're going to encourage restaurants to put tables on the sidewalk like they do in South Beach and they do it in France and other places. We're going to bring downtown to life with the culture. Go and watch it, and you'll see we'll be planning to win the eastern side of Bay Street. I got to end it there. I think we've covered everything for the night. We go live again tomorrow at 8:30. I think we've covered everything we need to cover. I've spent over 2 hours with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the movement. Go out there and evangelize. Talk to your friends and family. Tell them we need this new Bahamas. There's no new Bahamas that's going to come from Brave and Minutes. The only new Bahamas that you're going to see is from the Coalition of Independence. I want to say this bold thing to you today. I should have said this earlier. Every single Bahamian under the sound of my voice, we have one chance in this. There are some people who are considering voting for other so-called third parties. You can see that there is one alternative party that has a chance at winning this. We've shown that we are able to do this. We've shown that we have the support of more of the Bahamian people. Do not waste your vote on other third parties. We can do this if we concentrate our forces and effort. Give us your support. Give us your support. We are right there to winning this. Focus, Bahamas. Give us a chance. You have seen the support. This is not something that we are imagining. You have seen the motorcades. You have seen the rallies. You have seen that we have a shot at this. That we have a shot. We're right there to doing this. There are other organizations that have been around for years, I admit. But they don't have a shot at this. We have a shot at this. Talk to your friends and talk to your family members and tell them we can't take the risks with any other alternative party. Support the Coalition of Independence. Don't waste your vote. We can win this. You've been walking around, you've been talking to friends and family, you see that a lot of people are ready for this. A lot of people are saying that they're going black. Talk to your family and friends. Let's focus our efforts. And we will win. Yes, it sounds good for everyone to come together, but everyone cannot come together. And there are some people who are there with ulterior motives that are there to distract the Bahamian people. Focus our efforts. Give us a chance. Give this team of qualified Bahamians a chance. We can do this. We are days away. If you hear your family or friends talking about voting for any other alternative, tell them to go with the coalition. In fact, we are a coalition of many different organizations. Many persons that left other parties and are with us. We have two candidates that left the DNA and they're with us. We have candidates that left other organizations, other so-called alternative parties, and they're with us. Persons who left the PLP and they're with us. Persons who left the FNF and they're with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a true coalition. Give us that chance to change this nation, to fight for you. Just look for that logo and vote for that. That logo represents change. That logo represents the Bahamian people. That logo represents you and me. Ladies and gentlemen, change isn't coming. Change is here. See you tomorrow.